The U.S. city of New Orleans has lost power as Hurricane Ida batters the state of Louisiana. The storm brought winds of 240 kilometres per hour, knocking out the power supply, with only generators working there now. One person was killed when a tree fell on their home in Baton Rouge. The storm has weakened now, and the flood defences in New Orleans, which failed during Hurricane Katrina exactly 16 years ago, have held this time round. I've been speaking to Chris Franklin, Chief Meteorologist with WWL-TV in New Orleans, about the situation in the city.
Well, in the city of New Orleans, we are beginning to see improving conditions. The strongest of the winds, the rain, are now moving north of us. It is still affecting parts of our area, but in the city it is improving. One thing that occurred because of the storm, the major transmission lines of power that keep the lights on in the entire city of New Orleans are down. So the entire city of New Orleans is without electricity, and it's possible it could be without power for almost the month of September.
Tell me about the intensity of the storm then. Has it weakened since it made landfall?
It has weakened, thankfully. It was a very slow process. In fact, it made landfall about 12 hours ago as a Category 4, winds of 150 miles an hour, and it is just at this hour weakened to a Category 1 hurricane. So it is still classified as a hurricane, but it has been, in fact, weakening. It's just been a very slow process, and the storm has been moving very slowly.
What's the biggest concern here, Chris? Is it the damage that will be caused by the wind, or is it the intense rainfall and the flooding that could potentially come with that?
Well, thankfully, the rain wasn't as much of an issue here. The wind damage is certainly very extensive across all of South Louisiana. But what we've also found is there are certain areas where people are needing to be rescued due to storm surge. You actually get a rise in the sea level with an incoming storm, and that inundates our coastline as well as our lakes and some of our rivers, and that will then flood into areas that are not protected by a levee system and increase water levels by, in some cases, 10, 14 feet. And it does strand people. We've already had reports of people needing to be rescued as of tonight, and rescuers are not going to be able to get to them until daybreak in about 6 hours from now.
And we know that much of New Orleans is below sea level, and that makes keeping the water out very challenging. Are the defences, are the levees holding right now?
Thankfully, the levees held, and thankfully, we did not require our pumping system, which then would pump any rainwater out of the city. As we are below sea level, we can't rely on gravity to help drain the water. We would need a pumping system, and thankfully, the rain wasn't as much of a concern, and our levees did hold from the storm surge of Ida.
The state governor, John Bell Edwards, said yesterday that Louisiana has never been better prepared for a hurricane or a storm like this. So can you tell me about the preparations that have been put in place, which you seem to be suggesting were effective?
They were. And one thing that we found, this has been a work in progress for our hurricane risk reduction system. That's what we call our levee system. It was implemented after Hurricane Katrina, which, ironically enough, was 16 years ago to the day that Ida made landfall. And this was really the first storm in South Louisiana that really put our levee system to the test. And blessedly, it held, it worked, and the city and everyone that was protected by that system did stay dry.
Is the worst of the storm over now for the city of New Orleans?
The worst is over. We are already improving early this morning, and we will continue to see improving weather through the day and through the week. The problem then is going to be the recovery, the rebuilding, and the cleanup work that will take months, if not years, for some areas, especially those hardest hit along our coastline.
So this storm coming, as you say, exactly 16 years from when Hurricane Katrina struck, it's a very different beast, a very different storm.
It is. We're going to see obviously very widespread devastation across the area, but we are not going to see the images that so many around the world saw after Katrina. This did not flood the city of New Orleans. The city of New Orleans is okay. Yes, we're without electricity, and yes, there is damage, but the city stood, and we are fine.
That was Chris Franklin, chief meteorologist with WWL TV in New Orleans, speaking to me a short time ago.